Hello friends, now we are going to discuss about the STP, that is called as sewage treatment plants in brief. In one of the video we have discussed about the ETP, that is effluent treatment plant, and these are the two different requirements in some of the industries, and some of the industries are having the combination of these ETP and STP. But basically if you refer the sewage and effluent, these two concepts are different, because in the effluent, that is generally called as trade effluent or the industrial effluent, that is nothing but the wastewater which is generated from the industry and having some characteristics like corrosivity, reactivity, ignitability, etc. So mostly when we are talking about the effluent or trade effluent, they are having some of these characteristics or combination of these characteristics. So the toxicity is one of the main characteristics which is related to the effluent or trade effluent, and which may not be case for the sewage. So when we are talking about the STP or the sewage, so it is the domestic water or the water or the wastewater coming from the washrooms, from the industries or from the residential areas also. So the STPs are of different kind. So when we are talking about the STPs in the industries, so they are having their STPs depending on the quantities or the wastewater generated in the industry and having the characteristics of the sewage, then that STPs are a different one. And when we are talking about the STPs, which is designed by the government, normally by the municipal corporations, so that STPs are a different one. So the principal mechanism, the steps involved, the equipments involved are near about same. But in some of the cases, depending on the quantity, depending on the characteristics of that sewage, we have to change the capacity of that equipment. We have to add some of the steps in some of the STPs. So that is totally depend on the conditions. So the condition is means that the characteristics of that sewage and the quantity of that sewage. So this is the general flow diagram which is indicated what are the steps involved in the STP, right? So this is the influent, that is sewage inlet from this point. So it is collected in a tank, and this is then sent to the appropriate equipments, and all these equipments are generally called as the steps which are called preliminary, primary, secondary and tertiary, or in some of the cases directly for the sludge method. So generally in the conventional plants, primary, secondary are the main steps involved in the STP, but before primary we have to consider the pre-primary or preliminary steps. So what exactly it is? So from this diagram you can understand this sewage is going to send to the equipments or the site where we can block the large size particles in the preliminary treatment, and then we can send it to the primary for treatment, that is for the aerator or the sedimentation tank or the flocculator, etc. So these are the clarifiers and having a large size cylindrical tanks or the rectangular tanks. Then the clean water from this primary treatment or the clarifier is going to send to the aerated lagoons or for the aeration purpose, where the air or the dissolved oxygen are added into the wastewater for the biological treatment and also to adjust the dissolved oxygen level as per the requirements. Then after aeration, the wastewater which is treated from the primary and aeration steps is sent to the secondary treatment. So in the secondary treatment, it is generally called as biological treatment, where biological particles are consumed by the different bacteria, and most of the organic substances are consumed in the biological treatments. So that is depend on the conditions again, which type of bacteria in what quantities are involved, or that may be a latest technology which is used in this biological treatment for the biological treatment or the secondary treatment. And then the part of this secondary treatment is sent to the sludge digestion tank, where the sludge can be separated from the clean water, and this sludge can be dried in the sludge dryer bin. So in the dryers or in the sludge drying bed mechanism, we can use the sunlight or some artificial thermal energy for removing these moistures or water from this sludge, and then we can send this dry sludge to the final facility, which is transportation to the other places. So this sludge is nothing but the natural manure or the fertilizer, and the methane which is generated from this sludge facility or from the drying facility or from the various steps, especially when we are talking about the biological treatment and the sludge systems. So this methane, that is nothing but the CH4, which is flammable gas, can be utilized for the different purposes, and if it is prepared or created in excess, then we have to burn this methane gas. It is called as flare. So you can observe this flare arrangement, as well as that methane can be stored, methane can be utilized for the different purposes. So in the conventional technologies, the final outcome from this STP is the sludge and the methane. And nowadays we can use this methane as a fuel, as a substitute for the fossil fuels also. In some of the cases, even the DG plants or the diesel generator plants are also modified, and where this methane can be used. So depending on the latest technological advancement or the requirement, we can modify these types of steps, but the basic mechanism is one and the same in this sewage treatment plant. So in this STP, that is domestic wastewater treatment, it is the process of removing the contaminants from the wastewater and household sewage, both runoff effluents and domestic. It includes the physical, chemical and biological process to remove the physical, chemical and biological contaminants. So in this STP, or it is called as sewage, there are different types of contaminants. That may be a physical contaminants, chemical contaminants, or biological contaminants. And to remove all these contaminants, different contaminants, we have to go for these different processes. That may be a physical process. So like filtration, screening, sedimentation, all these things are under the physical separation or physical process. When we are talking about the chemical addition, chemical dosage, alum, coagulant, flocculants or coagulant addition, then these are the chemical processes. And when we are talking about the biological treatments, so some of the bacteria can be added, some of the positive bacteria can be added for the good biological output. So that is nothing but the biological processes. So depending on the type of contaminants, depending on the quantity of contaminants, we can adopt these physical, chemical or biological processes for treating this wastewater, that is domestic wastewater, or it is also called as sewage treatment. So that is the basic purpose of this STP. Its objective is to produce the waste stream, that is treated effluent and a solid waste or sludge. Then we can reuse this wastewater, that is treated effluent, depending on the characteristics again, and that is why the State Pollution Control Board have given the guidelines for the industry as well as for the municipal corporation, that this is the maximum permissible limit for these types of characteristics which is related to this sewage treatment method. So the methods or the characteristics of the sewage may be a pH, that is potence of hydrogen ion concentration, then alkalinity, then acidity, then dissolved oxygen, chemical oxygen demand, that is COD, then biological oxygen demand BOD, then some heavy metals, etc. So depending on the concentration of these characteristics or the number of these parameters, we can reuse, we can recycle this wastewater, and if it is not the recyclable and reusable, then we have to go for the treatment, that is for the final treatment. Then there are different steps which we have already discussed, that pre-treatment facilities there, that is nothing but the screening method or the large particle size separation, because due to this large particle size, this material can damage or clog the pumps and skimmers of the primary treatment clarifiers. For examples, trash, tree limbs, leaves, etc. So we have to separate all these large size particles which may be added in this sewage. Then after screening method, with the help of these types of screens, this wastewater is sent to the primary treatment. So in the primary sedimentation or primary clarifiers, or it is also called as primary sedimentation tanks. So basically in the primary treatment, sedimentation technique is used, and sedimentation is nothing but the solid and liquid separation technique with the help of gravity. So when we are talking about this primary treatment, so the main thing is primary sedimentation tanks. So when the wastewater from the preliminary treatment is sent to these primary sedimentation tanks, so naturally after some times, after some settling times, these large size particles are going to settle with the help of gravity. That process is called as sedimentation. So this sedimentation process is done in this tank, that is why it is called as sedimentation tank. And this is under primary treatment, that is why it is called as primary sedimentation tanks. So these tanks are large enough that sludge can settle and floating materials such as grease and oils can rise to the surface and be skim off. The main purpose of this primary sedimentation stage is to produce both a generally homogeneous liquid capable of being treated biologically and a sludge that can be separately treated or processed. Primary settling tanks are usually equipped with mechanically driven scrappers that continually drive the collected sludge towards the hopper in the base of the tank, from where it can be pumped to further sludge treatment stages, and with these grease and oils from the floating material can sometimes be recovered for the specifications. So these primary settling tanks are equipped with these mechanically driven scrappers. So if there is a floating materials remain present in that wastewater, then you can easily separate out these solid materials or floating materials or some impurities which is floating on the surfaces of this water, and these scrappers are mainly designed for that purpose. So the clean water can be sent to the next process. So this is the view of this primary sedimentation tank or clarifiers. So this is the scraper arrangement. Here it is the pump arrangement, and this shaft or axis is attached to these scrapers, and clean water can be sent to this space for the further stage. So all these tanks, you can observe these pipe connections. All these tanks are connected to the different stages of this STP with the help of these pipelines. Then next step is secondary treatment. So it is designed to substantially degrade the biological content of the sewage. So the main purpose of this secondary treatment is to degrade the biological contents of the sewage, which is derived from the human waste, food waste, soaps and detergents. So mainly when we are talking about the sewage treatment, when we are talking about the sewage, it is mainly derived from the human waste, food waste, so that may be the part of the canteen also, and some of the soaps and detergents. The majority of municipal plants treat the settled sewage liquor using aerobic biological process. So normally when we are talking about the municipal STP, that is STP is designed and operated by the municipal corporations. So mainly they are using the aerobic biological process. So aerobic means we are using the air, indirectly the oxygen, for the biological processes. So for this to be effective, the biota requires both oxygen and the substrate on which to live. So for the effective biological process, we have to use the air, indirectly we have to use the oxygen, and the substrate should be also present. There are a number of ways in which this is done. In all these methods, the bacteria and protozoa consumes biodegradable soluble organic contaminants, that is sugars, fats, organic, short chain carbon molecules, etc. So all these are the examples of these biodegradable soluble organic contaminants. So all these can be consumed by the bacteria and protozoa and bind much of these less soluble fractions into flow. Secondary treatment systems are classified in the fixed film and suspended growth. So this secondary or biological treatment is classified in two types, that is fixed film or suspended growth. So from this diagram you can observe what exactly the secondary or biological treatment is. So this wastewater coming from the primary treatment is sent to the biological treatment tank where the biological process is occurred, and after the biological process or after some time this can be sent to the membrane bioreactor. So where the membranes are used, where you can block or stop the bacteria to flow from the input to the output. So we can block this bacteria with the help of these membrane sites, and then the clean water molecules can be the output of this membrane bioreactor. So the two types of biological treatment, that is fixed film and suspended growth. What is the difference in this fixed film and suspended growth? So we will discuss the mechanism or the principle and the equipment which is used for these types of biological treatment. So the first one is fixed film or attached growth systems. The treatment process including the trickling filter and rotating biological contactors. So RBC or trickling filters are the equipment which is used for the fixed film or attached growth systems, in which the biomass grows on media and the sewage passes over its surface. So in this fixed film or attached growth systems, the biomass is growing on a media. So on this trickling equipment parts or the RBC parts, the biomass is going to grow and the sewage is passes over its surface. But in the suspended growth systems like activated sludge process, the biomass is well mixed with the sewage and can be operated in a smaller space than the fixed film systems. So that treat the same amount of water. So this is the basic difference, that in the fixed film system, the biomass is growing on the media and the sewage is passes over its surface. But in the suspended systems, the biomass is mixed with the sewage, and then we can operate or treat that wastewater. So these are the different equipments, that is trickling filter and RBC are used for the fixed film systems, and activated sludge equipment can be used, or the process can be used in the suspended growth systems. However, these fixed film systems are more able to cope up with the drastic changes in the amount of biological material and can provide higher removal rates for the organic material and suspended solids than the suspended growth systems. So as far as if the biological materials are having the different natures, and these different nature materials are mixed in a single sewage systems, then that can be treated, and if the rates are also higher, the quantity is more, then the fixed film system is more comfortable than the suspended growth system. Then roughing filters are intended to treat these particularly strong or variable organic loads, typically industrial, to allow them to then be treated by the conventional secondary treatment processes. So these filters can be also used. So these are the photographs of this RBC, that is rotating biological contactors. Then the trickling filters. So these are the two examples of the fixed film system, that is from the biological treatment. So these are the two equipments which is used for the fixed film systems, where the biomass is grown on the part of that media or the equipment, and the sewage is passed through the surface. So in this RBC, you can observe that we are going to use the filters, the membranes, and these are the rotating parts. That is why it is called as rotating, and the biological process is going on. So this is rotating biological contactors. Then it is a trickling filter, where the sewage water is going to spray in the air, and then the impurities from this wastewater can be blocked with the help of this uh, trickling arrangement. And here there are two purposes can be solved. One of the purpose is to addition of this oxygen indirectly, the addition of air by spraying this wastewater into the air, and second one is to block the impurities. So this is the trickling filter and RBC for the fixed film systems, and this is the activated sludge process for the second type of biological treatment, that is called a suspended growth system. So here the biological mass and the sewage is mixed, and then the biological process is going on, and after this uh, aeration basin and the secondary clarifier, this sludge can be prepared. So this is the activated sludge process, what we have discussed, that used dissolved oxygen to promote the growth of biological flow that substantially removes the organic material. So we have to reduce the load of these organic materials or the organic contaminants with the help of this activated sludge process. So we can use this DO, that is dissolved oxygen, to promote this activity. Then the process traps particular material. We can trap the particulate material, and also we can convert this ammonia to nitrite and nitrate, and ultimately to nitrogen gas. So with the help of this activated sludge process, with the help of this dissolved oxygen, we can reduce the load of this organic material, as well as we can trap the particulate material, and also we can convert this ammonia into different derivatives like nitrite or nitrate, and ultimately into the nitrogen gas, which can be separated easily. So activated sludge process is efficient as compared to the conventional process, but it is more comfortable when the quantity of this wastewater or the sewage is less. So these are the different advanced treatments where we are using the membranes, that is reverse osmosis. So in this reverse osmosis, we have to use the pressure for pushing this wastewater or the sewage from inside to outside, and with the help of this membrane and the size of these membranes, permeable membranes, we can block the impurities from this wastewater, but we have to use the pumps or the motor systems, because in these RO systems we have to use the pressure. Then there is another treatment like UV disinfection. So some of the STP plants require this UV disinfection facility, but in the conventional systems we generally use the chlorine as a disinfectant, which is cheapest and the oldest method of this disinfections. So nowadays this chlorine disinfection unit can be replaced by this UV disinfection, and in some of the STP plants there is a alternative or combination of these disinfection units. So there is a chlorine unit as well as the UV disinfection unit also. And in some of the STP plants, there is a filter tanks available for blocking some of the impurities, and there is also the facility of backwash. So if you are using this filter media for the filtration of this wastewater, and after clogging these impurities or the foreign materials on this filter media, you have to go for the backwash. So if you observe these arrows, that is the flow from one side to another, so you can easily understand what exactly the backwash is. So this arrow indicates this wastewater is going from this direction to this direction, and in this case of backwash it is a reverse direction. So it is clearly showing the reverse direction, right? So here from top to bottom, and here from bottom to top. So in this case, when we are pouring this wastewater through this filter media, this wastewater, that is clean wastewater or treated wastewater, is going to pass through this filter media, and the impurities or the foreign materials are blocked in this filter media on the surfaces, and in the back wash these impurities are separated from this filter media, and we can separate out these foreign materials or the block particles, and we can reuse this filter media as a filter in this mechanism again after backwashing. So depending on the quantity, depending on the uh, cost of this filter media, we can use this backwash facility. And in some of the STPs, especially when we are talking about the multinational companies or the standard required in the industries, which is equivalent to international standards, nowadays advanced oxidation process are also used. In some of the sewage treatment plants, I have also observed the oxidation units and the oxygen, or in some of the units the ozonizers are also included. In the Nasik itself, I have also observed this ozonizer unit as a disinfectant in the STP plant in a Bosch company. So there are different technologies and advanced technologies are available nowadays for the STP as well as for the ETP. So depending on the requirement, depending on the standards, and depending on the legal compliance as per the State Pollution Control Board, we have to adopt these different techniques. But we have to comply the State Pollution Control Board's maximum permissible limits like pH, acidity, alkalinity, DO, BOD, COD, etc. Because after analysis of these parameters only, we can easily say that this wastewater or this sewage is treated. because if the COD of that water is going to reduce, then we can easily say that this wastewater or the sewage is treated, because this COD is one of the parameter, and COD, BOD and DO, these are the three related or connected parameters. In a similar way, we have to also observe the pH, because the treated wastewater should not be acidic or alkaline nature, and that should be the neutral water. So pH should be near about 7, and likewise. So depending on the input or the sewage or the effluent, we have to control these parameters with the help of different mechanism. That may be a preliminary, primary, secondary and tertiary treatments. Thank you.